Okay, good. First, are you
Okay, done.
what's it? Yes, you're going live? 1, 2, 3. 10 seconds.
Okay, Assalamualaikum dan selamat petang, good afternoon everyone. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chef Ahmad from Accra, Malaysia. Alright, today we're going to do a Malaysian, authentic Malaysian rendang. What I'm going to do today is basically I'm using a beef, alright. But for your understanding that this authentic rendang, basically we can use beef, we can use poultry, chicken, duck, we can use any game meat, and we can also use lamb. Alright. Okay, so some of you for sure will ask what is rendang. So this rendang is basically authentic Malaysian dishes. Alright, there is a history behind that. Alright, and it's actually very popular, or it started where in Indonesian dishes actually. Alright, so as you understand, in Asian region there is a lot of migration during those stage time. Okay, and of course the migration move around. Alright, and they go to other country and state. And as you understand that we are Malaysian, we have 14 states in Malaysia itself, and all 14 states will produce you different texture and different taste, and also a different way of doing their rendang. Some of rendang they will start from sautéing. Some of rendang they will start from combination of all ingredients, and they braise them to a long hours. Alright, and what we're going to do today is basically a rendang that a very normal and a simplified rendang. Alright, this is very suitable for you to do in between less than 1 hour. You can ready with your rendang. Okay, so the basic principle for rendang is basically all the roots, the vegetables, ingredients. Okay, which is I don't touch this part first. We're going to go through on all the ingredients. So if you see here, this is a galangal. All right, this galangal is roots vegetables, and it's really pungent. They have a really pungent aroma, and it's a bit fibery. All right, so right after this we have the lemon, all right, the kaffir lime leaf, and we have ginger here. We have a lemongrass, all right, turmeric. All right, I suggest you to use a fresh turmeric compared to the turmeric powder, because it gives you a very good flavor, and it's really aromatic. And we have a dried chili, which is we already soaked earlier, and we're going to blend them. So on this side we have a shallot, and we have garlic, and this is a palm sugar. All right, very basic principle of rendang. You must have galangal, you must have lemongrass, the lime leaf, ginger, onion, shallot, and chili. So if you have these ingredients, you basically can start your rendang already. Alright, so part of that, where into the richness of the gravy of the rendang, so we will add in a kerisik. Right, so kerisik basically is a desiccated, is a fried desiccated coconut. Alright, so you fry them until it's really brown. Alright, and when you pound them, it will produce you oil. Okay, alright, so I have a lemongrass, which is I slice them, and I have the lime leaf, I shredded, and also the turmeric leaf, I shredded. So we're going to use a palm sugar, alright, and this is salt and a bit seasoning powder and coconut milk. Alright, so this ingredient beside here is basically, this is a combination of the galangal, lemongrass, ginger, and the fresh turmeric, which is I blend it together. Alright, of course when you blend it, you will need to add in some water inside that. Alright, so shallot, garlic, and chili. Okay, and this one I combine 3 of these ingredients. I blend it together, because the first step that you need to do, you have to cook the chili paste. Alright, till it's really brown, and we're going to do a bit of caramelization with the palm sugar. Okay, so we're going to start to saute the ingredient first. Okay, so we need oil here. Okay, as I said earlier, alright, rendang is not only you can use a beef, alright, you can use with a lot of other meat, alright, example from a game, alright, duck, poultry, you can use also lamb, alright. So you heat your oil. To be hot, alright. So for your understanding, that Apka Malaysia also is offering a part-time program for the working adults segment, alright. So we do it every Saturday and Sunday. It's 2 days. It's a 2 days class. It's a weekend class program where it composes a lot of Asian cuisine. Example from Malaysians. We also do Thai cuisine, alright. So we're more focusing into a cuisine type of class for the working adult segment in weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Alright, so when oil is hot, alright, we saute the onion, garlic, and chili paste. Alright. So the importance of Asian cooking, okay, is basically if you have a good base, right? When you have a very good base, then you have a combination of rich pungent flavor, alright, from all type of the fresh ingredients, alright. You will have a very good Asian dishes where you combine the freshness and also the aromatic ingredients. Okay. If you see the rendang recipe that we do today, there's no ingredients from a powder base. All right. So there's no ingredients of instant ingredients. So this is basically is very authentic dishes. All right. So all using a fresh ingredient from the sources of the country itself. Okay. So you may say that it's a bit similar to Indonesian cuisine, it's a bit similar to Nyonya Peranakan cuisine, alright. This is because of we are in the Asian country. So we are in the Asian region, we have the same produce from each country. So Indonesian have a coconut, Indonesian have ginger, galangal, they have more ingredients that's similar to Malaysians. Okay. If I go through the explanation into the Malaysian rendang, you will see many type of rendang. So example, I take rendang from Negeri Sembilan. So it's one of the state in Malaysia. If I take the rendang from Negeri Sembilan, they don't use the dry chili. They use the bird eye chili, right? The chili padi. So when you eat their rendang, if you really can take spicy, alright, their rendang is very spicy. Okay. So basically it's based on your adjustment also. This is a typical dish, it's a traditional dish, but the adjustment is basically come into the preference of you when you do this cooking. Some of you may not like too much coconut milk, you can reduce them a little bit. Some of you, maybe you like very dry type of rendang, so you have to cook it a bit longer. Alright. Even your meat selection also is very important. Okay. The meat selection for you, if you use a tender type of meat like tenderloin, sirloin, alright, you no need to cook it for a long time, alright. But if you, let's say you use beef rump or beef chop or the shoulder part, alright, so it will take you a bit more longer, but the rendang texture will be a bit different because of the vein and the tendon that content inside the meat structure. Alright, so the chili paste is a bit drying, so I add in the palm sugar. Alright, So the idea of putting the palm sugar here is basically to caramelize the chili. So it will give you a bit caramelization taste here. Okay. So for those who don't know what is palm sugar, so it basically is a gula melaka. We call in Malaysian way we call it as a gula melaka, gula kabong, or we call it as gula merah. Okay, and I think in if let's say I think in India they call it jaggery something. It's
Good.
It's
In Hindi we call it good.
good.
Yeah,
In
good.
Hindi you call it good. Okay, so basically it's a palm sugar, right? Okay, at this moment I have a bit lemongrass, which is I already pound it, alright. So you just can add in. And I will go with the second paste ingredient is basically the lemongrass, galangal, alright, the fresh turmeric. And ginger.
Chef, in most of the dishes you try to marinate your meat. In this also, in general behavior in Malaysia, they marinate the meat beforehand, or they just cook it in the gravy?
Okay, for this Malaysian cuisine, right, there is a method that we marinate, right, the meat, and there is a method that we don't marinate because the process of the cooking, it is goes on the braising method, so we don't need to basically marinate that. So if let's say it goes on the meat ingredient that we need to grill them or we need to roast them, alright, so we prefer to marinate them because we want to infuse the meat, alright, so we want to infuse to get all the ingredient taste, the marination taste inside the meat. Okay. So the way of cooking in Asian way and the cooking in the Western method is slightly a bit different. All right. So we believe in the Western cooking. All right. When we do the marinations of the meat. All right. So try to not marinate them juice inside that. Okay. But in Asian cuisine we do a lot of braising technique. So half ratio. Then only we add in the meat. Today I use beef chuck tender. Alright, so I don't need to cook them for a long time unless if I use ram or a tough meat part. Alright, so we need to braise them for a bit more longer. Okay. So now I'm going to add in the beef. So the beef, you can cut them cube. Alright, so let's say half inch into half inch. Alright. Because it's a braising method, so you cannot slice them too small, right? So the meat can be a bit chunky, no issues. So in the Asian cooking also, in the Malaysian cuisine also, alright, the traditional equipment also is very important, alright. But for those now we have a lot of modern ways and a modern type of equipment, alright. People does not longer using a cover, they does not longer using the clay type of a pot, alright, for cooking. So those days we cook rendang in the cover. Alright, a big kuali. and we cook rendang also in a big pot, alright. But it doesn't stop you from doing rendang in a small portion. If you have an exact quantity, alright, if you have an exact principle of the ingredients, and you have a proper composition of the ingredients, you can cook it in a small portion also. It will not stop you from cooking the traditional dish, even though you don't use the traditional method. Alright. Okay. So you start to cook slowly. Alright. Start to braise. I have some sliced lemongrass, so I just to mix the mixture, alright, from the fine blend lemongrass and also a bit sliced lemongrass. When you eat the rendang, when you have the bite texture of the lemongrass, it's going to be very nice, right? So instead of putting only a whole leaf, alright, so I shredded some of lime leaf also, alright, so it will leach a lot of lime taste and aroma over here, alright. So if let's say you use chicken, or let's say if you use duck, alright, it's going to be the same method, alright. But I suggest you, if you do rendang, use chicken or duck, alright. So use them with the bones, so it will leach much more strong flavor of the dish. Okay, instead of using fillet, or instead of using boneless chicken or boneless duck, I suggest, and we basically prefer to use them with the whole chicken with bones. Okay, right. So half of the palm sugar just now we add in inside when we do the caramelization of the chili paste, right? So we basically can add in. We will add in the curry seed. Right, the curry seed basically is a desiccated the coconut. You can buy them ready-made. You can buy them ready-made in the market, alright, or you can do your own. But one tip that I give you, when you buy the curry seed, you make sure that it's not too much of coconut smell, alright. So it need to be like a bit a fresh smell. If you feel it's too coconut smell, it means it's like a bit, the product is a bit longer already. Okay. So automatically when you add in the desiccated coconut, the rendang sauce change 100% to slightly a bit brown color. Okay. Alright. So I have coconut milk here. Finish this one. So now we need to give them a time, all right, to let them reduce. We need to reduce them, and we need to look into the texture, all right. It need to be slightly a bit more thicker than this, and it will coat the beef nicely, right?
Are we supposed to cover it while we're cooking it, or we leave it open?
We can do both ways. We can cover it, right? Because it's splitting over, all right. And basically, if we cover it, all right, it will reduce a bit more faster, okay. But if let's say we just want to cook slowly like this, it should be no problem. Okay. So if you see the meat, the meat is already cooked. So there is no such way of doing braising beef with medium doneness, or there's not require any doneness over here. The most important for the beef rendang is the beef have to be tender, all right. The gravy is must be more thicker than this, all right, and it will coat nicely the beef. So now you see it's a bit light, the gravy. Alright, so let's say we leave it another 15 to 20 minutes, so it's going to be thick and reduced. Okay.
Chef, meanwhile this is cooking, we have some questions coming out.
Yes.
There are some people who want to know about your 9-month culinary program. What is so special about the program, or what is so special about the school?
Alright. I explaining about the culinary program. Alright. So basically, when we talk about the program that we offer here, is basically it's a 9-month program. Okay. So this 9-month program, is basically divided into 3 times of 3 months. Right. So that 3 months basically is like a semester of basic, a semester of the diploma, right, the intermediate, and the semester of the advanced. Okay, so in the basic, the 3-month basic, so we only teaching about the basic fundamental, right, the basic fundamental in cooking, the basic fundamental of identification of ingredient, method of cooking, procedures, and type of ingredients, and how to use, how to understand, and how to cook them. Okay, so when they move into the second stage, where another 3 months, so we basically, after they already learn about the knife skills and everything, about the mise en place, the preparation, right, after they learn about how the understanding of the ingredients, how to use the ingredients into a specific cooking method, alright. So in that second stage of intermediate, they learn about cooking. So in 3 months, they learn about only cuisine. Alright, so there is a cuisine which is composed from Italian cuisine. Alright, we compose from the French cuisine. We compose from Malaysian cuisines. Alright, we also do buffet meal productions, and then we also teach them about the force meat, where they do a production from the force meat ingredients. We do a preservation class. So it's all about developing them into cooking in a good way, right? Cooking in a good way, understanding the ingredients, and developing the dish. Alright, so when they finish the intermediate, they will develop themselves into the advanced method. So in advanced methods, they will learn about the molecular cuisine. They will learn about progressive cuisine, where they do slightly a bit more into a fine touch of cuisine. Right, so they develop themselves into plating skills. Alright, they develop themselves into the cost management, into a kitchen management. So we not only doing a hands-on program for them in the cooking only. Alright, so they will have a strong training in terms of food costing theory, in terms of how to do menu engineering, alright, and how to do the budgeting, alright, because it's all related into the chef profession. Okay, so every of a 3 months they will have a final assessment for them in order for them to move to the next stage, right? So we also concerned about their competency, alright. We will guide them until they are really competent to move to the next stage. If they don't competent enough, some of them they have to go through another repetition, or we will have a special observation on them, alright, because what we need to be stern here is basically is about their progress. Okay, so as you see now, the rendang is starting to reduce, alright, it's splashing everywhere, alright. So make sure when you do your cooking, and if you have a small kitchen, so just make sure that everything is ready for you, alright. So actually it's not a difficult technique, it's not a difficult method, because it basically is a braising method. What you can do after you half of the way, when you do the cooking, when you saute everything, when you add in your meat, when you add in your coconut milk, alright, what we need to do is basically to reduce that. So in the same time you can do other things also, alright. So it's not a very difficult dish that you have to put 100% consideration here. So you can just put aside and reduce them, so in the meanwhile you can prepare another dishes. Okay.
What is the classic accompaniments for this dish? Is it rice, or is it any kind of specific bread?
Okay, with rendang we normally, we will go with rice, alright. Not only a white rice, okay, and not only a rice which is the normal local rice, okay. So as you understand, the grain also come from a different things. Then we have a lot of varieties. So if you know glutinous rice, some we do a steam glutinous rice, which is the glutinous rice we already mix them, or we soak them inside the turmeric water. So when you steam them, alright, it will turn into a yellowish color. So this is also a very traditional dish where we eat the beef rendang with pulut kuning. We call it as pulut kuning. So we also do this in a Malay ceremony sometimes. Alright, we do pulut kuning with beef rendang. Alright. And flavored rice, we will do like a ghee rice. We will do like tomato rice. We will do like biryani rice, or a very simple type of rice, but it's basically flavored rice. Okay. And this is a very typical dishes for a festive, like Raya festive, or this coming up Ramadan. Alright, you can basically try this. Okay. So if you feel that this is another tips that I give to you, alright, if you feel that it will take a bit more longer time to cook this, okay, and if you want to cook this in a big batch, alright, you can cook them 1 kilo or 2 kilo. But what you can do after that, you just cool it down, you pack or you vacuum pack, you can freeze it actually. So whenever you want, you just take out and you just can reheat them again, alright. Or you just with your sous vide bag, you can just basically soak them or steam them back, or you can microwave them, right? So you can have your rendang at any time actually. So one time cooking, let's say you produce for 2 kilo and you separate them into 6 bags, alright. You just pack, put it nicely, freeze it. You have your rendang in the freezer. So whenever you need your rendang, you can take out and just reheat it again. Okay, as you see, it's already started to thick, alright. So of course, it will take longer time to reduce this until dry. As I said, there is a different texture and different type of rendang. Some of you will like it a bit watery, because some of you like it goes to go with the gravy. Some they like very dry, like almost like a floss, alright. So that is serunding we call. Okay. Some of you will like it just nice to have a thick gravy like this, right? So this is the fresh turmeric leaf.
Oh, fresh turmeric.
Fresh turmeric leaf, right? So that's why I said just now, at the beginning I said you don't see any powder ingredients here, you don't see any instant ingredients here, because if you want to do a real authentic rendang, please use all 100% fresh ingredients.
Chef, there's a question here, one of the person asking that after they're doing the full 9-month program, what are the career opportunities do they have in Malaysia or outside Malaysia?
Alright, so if we talk about the the career for those who joining this program, alright, so it's basically is a platform for you, alright, to go into the culinary or hospitality industry. When we say about the culinary industry, it's not only talking about the hotel industry, alright. So there is a lot of industry will come into production background. If let's say in a production kitchen or a mass production kitchen or an airline system kitchen or a factory kitchen or a commercial kitchen where they produce food or a semi-food production, alright. There is also a restaurant in either independent restaurant or specific restaurant which is a middle class to high class. There is also a fine dining restaurant. There is also an authentic restaurant that specialized into one type of cuisine. So it's basically is depending on what you set on your direction, alright. So not everyone, when they join a chef school or chef academy, not everyone going to work in a Malaysian kitchen, and not everyone going to work in Malaysia, and not everyone is going to work in the overseas, and not everyone also will work in the restaurant. So the scope here is the scope of the career here is basically is very big, alright. So it depends on what you choose, on what direction you want. Some of the students that graduate from here, some of them they work with the hotel industry for a few years and then they apply and working abroad. They come back, alright, they join a hotel again, and some of them they already have their own business, and some of the students they already are the owner of a restaurant, alright. So it basically the chances of career opportunity outside there, alright, it's large. It basically is how you want to position yourself into the industry, alright. So of course, alright, there's no way of becoming as an instant chef. It need to go to the experience.
There has to be a process.
Yes, the same goes on this academy also. Why people come and learn here? Because this is the platform for them to enter the industry with a working experience. So in this academy, we're not only teaching the theory, because we are basically with in the kitchen we are 8 hours in a day. So imagine that in 5 days we have 40 hours of working experience actually. So it's all hands-on program. So it makes the student to be a person who are ready to enter straight away to the industry as a worker, right? So when you join a 9-month platform here, is not for you to go to the industry and start to learn cutting. No, you already know. You know already how to cook and produce a good meal. You know a basic fundamental of producing the budget. You know a basic fundamental to run the kitchen operation. So what you have to continue after the study is basically to gain your experience for a few years, and after that you decide to which platform you want. Okay. But sometimes, alright, sometimes for the youngsters, when the parents, parents is able and they really support you to learn, and they really give you chances to learn in this academy. It doesn't mean like for you when you enter, you straight away can go out and become someone or a popular chef. Alright, so don't go too much into like getting an instant popularity or anything, because The times will come. The time will come, right? So what is the value of you yourself in the industry? What is your value, right? You have skills, you have knowledge, right? So that is your value. If you have knowledge but you don't have skills, so it's not balanced. So if you have your skills, you have your knowledge, so it's balanced. Both of these will carry you. So you bring this into the industry, alright? So you yourself, you position yourself when you start to gain experience more in the industry. Alright, so basically, if you see the rendang here, it's slightly a bit a gravy type. Okay, so for me, this is my preference. I don't say that this rendang is the most 100% perfect rendang, but I told you all that this is my preference. Okay, so I like my rendang to have a gravy texture like this. Okay, some of you may like rendang very dry, alright, where we call that is rendang tok. When you want to convert them into a dry rendang, what you need to do is just continue braising until it dry. Okay, so if you see here, the gravy is just nice, alright. The thickness and the texture come from all the blended ingredients, okay, and the mixture of fresh leaf, the mixture of the blended ingredients, alright, it's going to be very nice. Okay, another tips, I don't put salt at the earliest stage, alright. So this is very important for you because when you reduce salt, alright, it will give you a saltiness too much and it will stick into the beef, okay, and it's basically it's not good for it's not good for your heart also. So that's why sometimes when you have understanding of Western cooking and understanding of the Asian cooking, you will see this different method, alright. So when the Western cooking or European cooking, alright, when they cook, they don't put salt inside the dish. They will put after they remove from the heat, so they will season it, right? But for Asians, we like to put salt, we like to put sugar in the beginning of cooking. So you want your meat to absorb the saltiness, alright? But for the European and Western cooking, it's slightly a bit different, okay? So it's not to telling you that any type of cooking is the best cooking in the world. None of European, none of Malaysian, none of Asian, none of Western. It's all about the cooking, alright? What you believe in your cuisine, that is the best, okay? So of course, we respect those international but save the heritage of the Malaysian cuisine also. So I just season them with salt and also some of seasoning powder. If you don't like to use, you can just use salt. Okay. Okay. So first, when you do cooking, you have to try it. Right, so it's enough sweetness. It cannot be too sweet also, right? It cannot be too spicy. It cannot be too salty also. It must be in the medium range. So it's full of lemongrass taste, it's full of galangal taste, and it's full of the nutty taste from the curry seed, the desiccated coconut, and also the coconut milk. Right. Okay, so I could say that the rendang is ready. Okay. Alright, as you see that our rendang is ready now. Okay. So I'm sure some of you watching this video, you're coming from a student background, you're coming from a working adult background, and also some of you, I think maybe you are coming from the restaurant background. Okay, so you must be questioning how that the Malaysian restaurant can serve rendang in a la carte. How can you imagine that? Because it will take you a long time to cook like this. Alright, so as I said just now, alright, you can cook this as a production. Alright, so example, I give you a very simple tips. If let's say you are a lineup of a restaurant chef or restaurant cook, what you can do, you can cook the paste in advance. Alright, so get ready your paste in advance. Alright, so daily you will have your fresh meat, right? So you can cook them a la carte, you can cook them a la minute. You can shorten the process of cooking by doing a semi-production. Alright, so we teach our student here to also think how you're going to serve this in the restaurant, how you're going to serve this in the dining experience. So this is what we also advise them, right? Because the most important for a Malay cooking is also about developing a good paste, right? So just a bit shredded turmeric leaf just now. Okay, right, so it's end of the beef rendang. It's ready. So of course, if you don't like this texture or the thickness, you can cook them a bit more longer, alright, to make sure that it suits to your preference. You can eat them with the gravy, you can eat them dry, based on how you like. Alright, and I repeat another one time, for those who are coming from a religion background, alright, so we understand that some of the Buddhists, some of the Indians, they don't take beef, alright, because of the religion purposes. Okay, and this rendang is not only to cook beef. You can cook with poultry, games, you can use lamb, you can use duck, alright. It's up to you, it's your preference. Okay, alright, so I'm going to try one. Okay, I'm sure the beef is nicely cooked, alright. So you see, that's how is it, the dish. So that's the rendang, and try it. Enjoy cooking, alright. Let's go and try. Good one,
I say let's go try it live.
okay guys, I want to congratulate all the cameramen, alright, the person who are behind this video, the live video. Guys, please come and try your beef rendang. Please. Alright, maybe I hold the camera for you. Alright, so this is the guy behind the live video here. Alright, it's Marvin. Alright, so you're going to try the rendang, right? So this is our director of operations, Nathan. And this is, there's no 10, there's no 9, there's no 5, there's only one. This is Nicholas Sharma, our founder. And this is our maintenance guys. So during this MOC, right, he a multi-purpose person here, so he do everything. Okay, Saiful, please, you also have to try this beef rendang, okay? Alright, so thank you everyone. I hope you enjoy, and it's going to be a very useful recipe for you all. And stay tuned with Apka program. We're going to have much more live videos soon with the pastry chef and few more culinary chef. Thank you very much, and stay safe. Bye bye.
This is Rendang is good.
This is
Let's
rendang.
try some now.
So I
I don't
think
want to
I'm
put
going
again
to reduce
my
them a
spoon.
little bit,
Yeah,
because I stop it because it's going to.
You know why? What I was,
Chef.
what I was thinking that you reduce some of the gravy in that and you toss it.